What up, y'all? What up, what up, what up? That is crazy. Okay, so we are live on Facebook and Instagram. If you are catching this on YouTube, it will be the replay. I am Miss Indigo Blue. I thank you so much for stopping through to my reading. Today we are talking about that new moon that is coming up on June 17th and 18th and how it can affect the collective. So if you are here, you are part of the collective that has conjoined and connected to myself. And so welcome. If it's your first time and if you're returning, I thank you so much for coming back again and again and again and again. I'm going to start by welcoming energies of earth, air, fire, and water. Let us create a life of beauty, reverence, and wonder. With each season, let us rejoice through every phase of sun and moon. Let us be in harmony. In every direction shall we offer our love. Great Spirit, Mother Creator, bless this earth through my life, source of all nourishment. We seek to replenish your sacred world. Guide us now through these images, words, and feelings within as we reach into the wholeness. Let all that is needed be known. Ashe, ashe, ashe. Okay, so I began this reading, meditating on the energy that is going to be prevalent during this new moon cycle, and there were some messages that I heard. One thing, my daughter stepped into the room while I was meditating and she was like, say it loud. And it didn't follow with anything, but of course I hear, say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud, right? And then it reminded me that this is Pride Month and that Juneteenth is on the 19th. And so many people will be celebrating either the 17th or the 18th, as the weekend comes in. And then it's also Father's Day, this 19th. So these energies will all be taking place during this new moon. And then Gemini is the placement for the new moon, but it's also the placement for the sun. And when we think about that sign of Gemini, we see that symbol and it's the two faces, right? And the two faces are looking at each other. Often we think of Gemini as being very this or that, right? Like they can come across this way, come across that way, just depending on the different situation that they are being placed into. Well, let's think about that mirror image, right? This face is looking at this image, this face. So if there were, a mirror in between, what would this face be saying or doing to this face? If this face was like super serious and saying da 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 to this face might stick its tongue out and be like, lighten up a little bit. You take stuff too serious, right? And so it can either do one of two things: create that balance that is where you want to be, or create a lot of confusion because there's a lot of mixed energies. Well, let's go ahead and double that up, shall we? Right? We got the sun energy and the moon energy. So now we don't have just these faces, we got these faces. And so the other thing that I was seeing when I meditated on this energy was like someone in a four-way mirror or someone in a room surrounded by mirrors. And I was hearing there's no way out. And I also heard about shape-shifting. And so either you can choose to wear this face or this face or this face or that face, right? But you're going to have to choose which face are you putting on. And for some people, there's going to be a culmination of energy that says, how did I get right here? And again, we don't want to stop and nitpick every situation and say, I did this, I did that, and it got me here, it got me there, it did this, it did that. See, I even got choked up trying to think about that. It's like that's not what we want to do, because We also have this bad news coming. For some people, they feel like, retrograde, right? Saturn retrograding in Pisces. And Pisces is a sign of consequences. So it's like you're going to be saying, yep, I did this, this, and this is where it got me. But the biggest take that you can take from it is to be okay with where it got you. There must have been a lesson. There must have been a reason. It's okay. Where do I go from here? Because now it's a new moon and I can plant new seeds and I can tell my life to either continue on this path or go with this face or this face or that face or that face. Like, which one is talking the talk that is speaking directly to your heart? Which one is talking the talk that makes you want to walk its walk? This is your opportunity to choose and to paint a beautiful picture that says, this is where I want to go from here. There's going to be some things that you did on your previous journey that you don't want to repeat, but there are going to be some things that definitely worked for you and that you are going to want to carry into the next cycle. So the first deck of cards that we are going to utilize today are going to be the Moonology cards. We're going to use these since it's a new moon to get the overall energy. I'm going to spray my new moon spray just in this area. To further welcome in the energy. These decks have all been shuffled. I'll do a little bit more shuffling here. Just a reminder, personal readings are currently available. You can go to manifestthatdream.com or reads.ivyflawless.com. It's going to take you to the same booking site where you can actually schedule your own appointment based on my calendar's availability. Reminding me I got some things to go in there and change. So let me write that down. One thing that I'm actually noticing a big difference in for myself is to make subtle notes. I used to try and like almost write down every single message, every single moment for the day, and then walk through it, crossing things off. And that can be a little bit much. But I am the type of person who likes a very lax environment. And so if I don't create some type of structure, then I can get a little bit lost. So I say that to say, when things pop up during this new moon, to go ahead and jot them down. Whether you're going to tackle them that day or a day in the future, just make sure to keep them somewhere where they can either trigger your mind, oh yeah, I need to do that, or walk past it 20 times a day and just keep it at the forefront of your mind. These cards are not wanting to come out, and sometimes I don't do this deck like this because they are such a heavy card stock. But we gonna see. Are we coming out? Nope. I forced that. We ain't taking it. If they want to come back out, they will. Got one more. And then we can carry on with the reading. Give me one more for this new moon in Gemini. They saying split the deck, Gemini. All right, so we're gonna just take that last one there. Ooh, we have meditate and contemplate. So beautiful for a new moon, which is pictured on this card, and we see that Pisces energy right in there. So new moon in Pisces, meditate and contemplate. So again, that Pisces energy is going to bring up that consequential information. So these are the consequences of the decisions that I made in the future. They don't have to be bad. It can be good, it can be bad, it can be otherwise. This is just the decisions that I made, and so this is where I'm at right now. So meditate on it and then contemplate where it's going to take you next. That's the biggest step. Don't meditate on it to, bring yourself down or lower your vibration, sit up and worry. Let it help you devise a plan of action for your next step. Then we have a win-win outcome is forecast. This is full moon in Libra. Okay, so a win-win outcome is forecast. It's all about perspective. As long as I look at this as something that can benefit me, that's what it's going to do. The other thing is, how big are you dreaming? Are you dreaming like a winner? Do you have a winner's attitude about where you're going to go, about these new seeds you're going to plant and how you're going to nurture them? How are you setting yourself up to be a winner in this next timeline? If you won on this current timeline, how can you win bigger, right? How do you say, go hard or go home? Because we reach for the moon. The other card is expect powerful change, new moon, eclipse. And so we just saw this as part of this week's weekly reading. And in that reading, I was talking about how this looks like the pupil of an eye, and then if someone had purple eyes, how that would look like the colors starting on their eyes, and how you are going to have to see into your own future. So not only that, we got these 4 faces of Gemini all staring at each other, wondering which one is going to take the lead, and then how are the other 3 faces going to respond to this version of you that is going to take the lead, because we're not just one-dimensional beings, we are multi-dimensional beings. So there's going to be parts of us that are going to want to be resistant. There's going to be parts of us that want to get on board immediately with what we decide to do, and there's parts of us that are going to go back and forth with it. And so you have to decide on which energy is going to kind of have the reins, right? Which one is going to be cracking? Which one is saying, this is it, and this is what we're doing, so I'm going to need y'all to get in line. It's almost like talking to the other versions of you as though they are your babies. I'm the mama this go around. I'm the daddy this go around. Okay, it's Father's Day. Let the father be in charge, and then the rest of y'all gonna have to get with the program or get real silent. Like, I'm either gonna have to take those voices that are not congruent with the plan and shh them completely out, or I am going to have to get them to convert into joining. So if you have a team, this could actually be different people on your team. This could be different aspects of your job. Something about it's not flowing all together. It's like I get all this done, and then boom, here comes something from over here. It throws the whole thing off. I have to start my project all over again. How can we avoid doing those types of things that get us to a certain place and then make us have to backtrack and restart, lose all the work that we did too in between, and then move forward? Like, there's got to be some type of recognition that takes place in order for you to see exactly what it is that you are doing that is stopping your flow. So it does seem like it's a very, very good time for that to happen. With the retrograde being in Pisces and Saturn is the ruler of work, laws, ethics, everything structural, everything. It's Father's Day, right? So everything that daddy says goes, right? For those who had the two-parent households, they would often say that the father was like this. Mom, you might be able to push her and sway her and change her and get her to go with your plan every now and then, but daddy said nah, it's a nah, you know. And so it was like that in some households, and some households were, you know, the reverse, like no. It was my mom who was saying. But whoever or whomever applied that structure to your life, you're going to have to kind of gather those pieces and those examples and sort of fight either the own thoughts in your own head or the thoughts in your plans that just are not in congruence with the ideas and the structure of the plan that you have going forth. Because if they come into that structure and they are not one with it, then they're going to slowly but surely start breaking that structure down. Some people, it's just mental. We have the meditate and contemplate here. And so for some people, it's just getting your head clear. If you've had a whole bunch of chatter going on in your head, you've had a lot of confusion, you've had a lot of thoughts, you've had a lot of worries, maybe it's just time to say, hey, stop worrying so much. One of the messages that we had for this current week through the 13th was to stop over planning. Sometimes that plan that you've created has boxed you in too much. Have some fun. Take the wild approach to it. Take the free approach to it. And I didn't write this down, but when I was meditating, I heard about freedom. And that had to do with, of course, Juneteenth. And you're only as free as you think you are. You're only as free as you allow yourself to be. Are you actually creating boxes? Are you actually putting yourself in places that keep you from moving, that keep you from connecting, that keep you from doing the things that you would really love to do, from meeting the people who you need to meet, from connecting to the resources that you need to connect to? Sometimes we are our biggest self-sabotager, and it's time to shapeshift out of that energy. It's time to be a team player on your own team. Everybody in my head needs to be singing one song. Everybody in my house needs to be singing one song. It's time to get on one accord. So shapeshift those opposing thoughts into ones that are going to work for you and help you get on the proper course of action. So the other deck that we are going to utilize today is the Sun and Moon Tarot, because this is a new moon. So I'm going to slide. I'm going to actually put these over here. Expect powerful change. A win-win outcome is a forecast. And that's the thing. It said it's forecast. So what do we know about the weather? It can be forecast and something can happen and something else can show up. A hiccup, right? There's a hiccup or a glitch in the system and something else. It was supposed to be a sunshiny day and here comes all this rain. So that's because there was a glitch in the system. So where's your system glitching? Where's that hiccup? You're going to have to find it and course correct it so that it can be in alignment with everything else that you have going on. So the first card that we are going to pull today is the actions that will help you ease into this transition. I keep finding cards in this deck that I return over. So we'll see if that one comes back out. All right, so we have prudence. The 8 of Pentacles. This is what this card looks like. I'm going to take a look at it. And ironically enough, we see someone at the bottom of a vine, right? And this is a type of plant that would have grown underneath the ground. So this part would have been showing, and the actual fruit of the labor would have been underneath the ground, like beets, radishes, those types of things would grow underneath the ground, carrots. And one thing about those types of plants, when you plant them, you plant those seeds individually, because if you don't, they're all gonna clump together. If you take a whole package of carrot seeds and you dump it into one tray, when you get that carrot out the ground, it might look like a carrot, but it's going to be a whole bunch of roots grown together into a blob of carrots. And so I like how this card came, because this is what it's saying. While your seeds are planted and while they're in the ground, they need to be merging together. They need to be on one accord. They need to be clumping together. They need to be fusing to each other, so that when you pull this plant out of the ground, it is just one big plant. And that plant is going to take off, because as you see, it's now not only underneath the ground anymore, but it's getting ready to pull her up into the air. So this is your Eight of Pentacles. This is saying a lot of work has been done. A lot of seeds have been planted. And now it's time for them to come together and emerge. And then, so that's going to ease your transaction. Gather everything that you've already planted and put it all together. Some people might be feeling like they need to start from scratch, they need to start over, or that they can't build on what they already have. But if you look at it the proper way, you are going to see exactly how you can build on what's already there, and that you don't have to eliminate everything. Now, that's not to say that something that you are eliminating is it can be a seed, right? So I sold this and I took it out of my life, but then I got money for it, right? So it still started your next journey, even though you got rid of it. I got rid of these negative thoughts, so now all my clear thoughts can come together and go forward. So there's sort of a plucking and pruning of the stuff that's not needed, but then allowing the merging and the coming together. That's going to make it easier for you to go through this transition. And what you can look towards for support during this transition is the Three of Wands. So we've been speaking in these last few weeks about that fire needing to be lit within. And so that's what I'm seeing here. I'm seeing this person is actually have the stick, and then there's two sticks in the air as though he is juggling. And so the other thing, being out on mountain's edge in free space and at nighttime. So one thing about fire at night is it brings light where there's darkness, right? And so there's also probably something that is going to have this light shined upon it that is going to reveal some information to you. Also lighting that fire from within, allowing you to push forward to get started. So you can look for this, and we're going to go ahead and do some clarification on this card right here, just to see a little bit more about what it actually might be that is coming in. So I'm going to go ahead and quickly shuffle this deck. This is Gilded Tarot. Oh, that was different. We'll see if he comes out. And then we're going to do a little clarification. And there's something speaking to me about this being Three of Wands, yet having the Gemini energy, which is dualistic, and then having two dualistic energies. So all of those numbers being even, but having this kind of odd number just pop up, like there might be something odd that shows up that you wouldn't think would be helpful, but just might be. Let's get a little bit more energy. Please help us with this Three of Wands. And it's saying, you know, virtue. So something that's actually held near and dear to your heart. Just maybe the way that you are having to go about dealing with something that's very virtuous might be different. One more card, please. So I usually clarify with 3 cards, and then I just heard something kind of smart like, yeah, while you're saying all these even numbers and you keep trying to pull this odd amount of cards. Underneath the deck, we have the Queen of Pentacles. So that could be meaning like a very prosperous feminine energy. It doesn't have to be a woman per se, but a very positive feminine energy could be either coming out of you or could be coming to help you. The 3 cards that came out of the deck are the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. Now that speaks to me back to like what we just said. You might have sold something that you feel like was an asset, or it was a safety net, or it was a safeguard, right? And now you're kind of feeling uneasy without having that safeguard moving forward. So it's causing you to maybe think about it. Even though it's been prosperous from you and you have the money, it's a different way that it's bringing money to you than it did before. Maybe you feel like previously it was an opportunity to bring you money ongoing, and now you got this one lump sum of money and you're going to have to trust yourself with it. And then we have the 5 of Swords, and the 5 of Swords, I just heard defeatist attitude. You can either feel like you're losing or feel like you're winning. There might be something or someone that's trying to come up against you, maybe trying to make you sell yourself short, maybe trying to cheat you out of something. And so you're going to have to definitely figure out who is a person who you want to play with on this journey. So when I say that, you are triumphant, right? But somebody over here is feeling like a loser. There might have been someone who wished you didn't make it. They wished you fell apart. They wished this didn't work for you. And you're coming out looking like a winner. And you might have been doubting yourself, right? Feeling like you were losing because you were giving up this asset, you were giving up this job, you were giving up this neighborhood, you were giving up this home, whatever it was that you were giving up, this car, this something that you put a lot of virtue in. It felt very, very virtuous to you, and now you're letting it go. And so although it feels scary, you will realize that it is triumphant. And then we have the 10 of Pentacles. So it's actually a power move, because even though you're looking at it as this one big pentacle in reverse, and yeah, this is the ace. You thought this was your ace in the hole. You thought this was the only way that you could count on this thing to bring you what you needed to bring you. But you went out there and you played the game and you beat the odds, and now you got a whole chest full of these aces. It went from being one ace to 10 of this one thing. So you might take that winning that you initially get from whatever you get rid of and flip it 10 times. It's going to bring you 10 times. Matter of fact, plant that seed. It's the new moon. I'm letting go of this in my life so it can come back to me 10 times over immediately. Claim that in this new moon. All right. And then the next card is going to be what will be gained. Well, it seems like, you know, we saw a little bit about what was going to be gained. Some pentacles. And pentacles can represent time and love as well as money. You know, anything that, you know, is virtuous. And we have art and temperance. Temperance, 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 temperance. It has been coming over and over and over and over again this month. It is that Sagittarius energy. And it's saying what is going to be gained. Peace, balance, equilibrium, a steady flow of ins and outs. Just peace, tranquility, all that you're looking for. And then I have in the back of my mind the idea that we've been saying, though, go out and have fun. So it might be work-life balance as well. It might be stopping all the work, you know, instead of being all work, no play, and doing some play and some work and making everything kind of flow where you don't put yourself on the back burner anymore and you stop and say, okay, it's mommy time or daddy time now, or whatever, where you feel that sense of freedom, right? You're feeling that sense of freedom because now everything is flowing and you have removed the necessary blockages to allow everything to flow. And we have, what do you need to let go of? What do you need to let go of? The Lovers. Okay. So the Lovers just represents some type of connection, some type of tie, some type of togetherness. And so normally people want to look at this and think that they're coming into union with someone. So if you need to let go of something, it might be letting go of the idea that this is not for you. Letting go of the idea that you're not lovable. Letting go of the idea that you're not capable, that you have to do everything on your own, that you can't make it with someone else. Allow someone else to be there for you. Allow someone else to help you. Allow someone else to make you happy, to be happy with someone else. It doesn't always have to always be on you. This is shared energy. So reciprocation might be something that you have been looking forward to. That reciprocity will be coming. There's going to be an energy that is coming in to lift you up. So let go of the idea that you are not enough to be one in a group. You don't always have to do it. Carry everything on your back. It doesn't have to be that old saying of, if you want something done right, you better do it yourself. You better start delegating some tasks out to other people and see how teamwork actually helps you move forward, right? So I feel like that is what this card is saying. Also, let love in. Get that ice box from around your heart, right? Allow yourself to be warmed up like those flames and that Three of Wands, and allow yourself to be warm. This is a change of pace, and it is saying that you need to let go of the idea that you're not worthy of companionship. Okay? There might be some people who need to let go of some partners or some companions, and, you know, on the flip side. So if you're saying, well, that's what's causing me the problems, you've already had the companionships, you've already had the partnerships, and they seem to not be working because either they're not following the plan as directed. I gotta cut them off. Might be someone who works for you, you know, and it gets tough when it's employees that are family or friends. You know, they got households to take care of and different things like that. But if they're not getting the job done, this would be the time to cut them off and say, I've given you, these chances and it's just not working out. You're going to possibly have to put yourself first, love yourself first, and say, hey, I'm going to still be in this exact position if I don't cut this off. So cut off, if you haven't allowed yourself to be helped, cut off the need to do it all yourself. If you have been continuing to entertain those who are supposed to be partners or supposed to be friends or supposed to be workmates, teammates, whatever, and they haven't been holding up their weight, they haven't been showing up, they haven't been sticking to the plan, then it's time to let them go. And the higher guidance, which is the final message for this reading. This is the new moon in Gemini. Higher guidance is the Nine of Swords. Stop worrying, stop overthinking, stop driving yourself crazy. You know all the answers. You know all the answers. If you look yourself in the mirror and you talk to yourself straight up, you cannot deny what you see or what you know. Get in that mirror and talk to yourself and say, hey, this is the truth. I'm tired of being trapped in this room with all these different ideas and all these different words being thrown around and everybody's talking and there's all these echoes, right? That room of mirrors, and everybody who's talking is you, this form of you, that form of you, saying too much, and now there's all this clutter and all the mirrors are smoky and foggy and got too much breath on them. Break free from the cage that you have put yourself in and stop overthinking everything. Let it have its ebb and flow. Let it do what it can do on its own. And then when you need to get in and kind of steer the boat this way or that way, get in and steer it. Get in. Don't let it just go way off to the wayside. But as long as it's staying course, let it stay the course. And then whatever is taking and knocking it off the course, get rid of it and then don't worry about it. Again, if it's that employee or that person who you have to get rid of, but you know that this is feeding their family, they should have been worried about that. That is something that they should have been making sure that they had covered, because I'm sure you're not just going to do this out of the blue. It's been talked about. It's been preached. It's been said over and over and over, and no action has been taken. So now it's time for you to say, I can't continue on this way. Whether it's me having bad thoughts in my head, whether it's me having a teammate or a partner that's not showing up, whether it's me not showing up for myself. No longer can this occur. It is time for me to take all of these seeds, because I've just been planting stuff in the ground and planting stuff in the ground and planting stuff, and I ain't pulled up not a plant yet. They sitting here. I don't know what's underneath the ground because I haven't even stopped and taken a chance to look. But when you merge them all together and pull them out, it's going to be like, that great pumpkin, Charlie Brown. Pull that big old fruit up and let it nourish you. Feed off of that fruit for a while. Feed off of that bunch of carrots, that bunch of beets, let those roots, right, replenish you exactly where they need to replenish you. Let this be what it is. Notice that it was one big pentacle that you were holding on to for dear life. And when it combusted and you let it break apart, it didn't break apart and scatter away from you. They're still here for you to grab and you to hone in on. So that is the message for this new moon in June on the 17th and 18th of 2023. I am Miss Indigo Blue. I thank you so much for stopping through. Before I leave, I'm going to give you my mantra, which is, when it gets hectic, don't forget, I've got it, you've got it, we've got it. The power. And you could do anything and everything you set your mind to with your power. May it be for your greatest good or your greatest other. I'll see you here again next time. Ciao.